It's finally here. Everything we've been waiting for. The new World Eaters Codex. This is very exciting. Whole bunch of new detachments, old detachments, Grotmist detachments, and many more. And we're going to break down the entire codex, all the data sheets. On part two, we'll make sure to break down all of the detachments, and I'll give you my best pro tips on those. But for now, stay tuned and locked in for episode 1 of the World Eaters Codex review. Time for the World Eaters Codex review. And remember, this is just data sheets and army rules. We'll have a second part to this. So starting off with the army rules and what it used to be and what it no longer is. So Blessings of Khorne is no more what it used to be. All right, so we lost Advance and Charge, we lost Feel No Pain, and we lost +2 move. But it's baked into most, if not all, of the data sheets in the World Eaters Codex. All right, so the +2 movement is baked into a lot of them. I know 8-bound only ended up getting one +1 movement. Berserkers, characters on foot, things like that, all ended up getting a glow up of +2 movement. So they are immensely faster now. So this army continues to be faster by move characteristics, no longer by having a blessings, which is actually a very good thing if you think about it. It's one less blessing that you have to have locked up throughout the game to give your entire army +2 movement. So now that you have the baked into your data sheets, you have the ability to use other blessings. So the new Khorne blessings is reroll charges, 6-inch pollen and consolidation, which is really strong. Dev wounds against infantry only, which you're going to see once you start playing your game. A lot of infantry units out there are very strong, and those are the ones you usually want to destroy first. So this is going to be very beneficial for you. Obviously, this is a loose case scenario where you won't be able to put it against cavalry, beasts, things like that. But everything else you're going to be looking at is going to be in a great position. So the dice system is also very simple to remember now. All you have to remember is all doubles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be able to get you those blessings accordingly. So double ones, reroll charges, double twos, and so forth, right? And double sixes will get you the dev wounds. Also, for triples, for the second half of the blessings, which there are 6 of them, so the second half being 4, 5, and 6, right? That portion right there is triple ones, triple twos, and triple threes for 4, 5, and 6. All right, to get those abilities. So a lot easier to remember now. Very simple system. I really like how the system is. It might be a little bit more challenging now to get your sustained hits, but we shall see, because there are 4-ups, double 4-ups, and triple ones. And it might end up taking away from any other triples that you have. So it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge potentially, trying to get all of those triples, maybe getting dev wounds and sustains at the same time. But we shall see, and hopefully your dice roll amazingly. And also, we have the Pact of Blood, which gives you the ability to have demons in your army and it not be your predominant army faction. And in the back of the codex, we have the points values for now. Obviously, at time of creation of this video, the full points have leaked throughout the entire social media sector. So a lot of people know the current points, things like that. I don't know if those are actually official. Some of them looked a little bit off, so I didn't want to include it here. but I can recite a few of them to you. The new FM should drop right before the Codex release. I'm really hoping that the Demon Prince, Exalted 8-bound, and Angron really get a points drop. Angron being at 385 points or 410 points, as it says here, which the league points is 385. That's why I have it on the brain. Still too expensive, in my opinion. I think entirely Angron has little to no value in this codex anymore at that price point. If it's 385 points, it's still not good. And we'll talk about that here very shortly. 8-bound looks significantly more expensive. I don't think they got better by losing the ability to advance in charge and not have feel no pain. But GW must see something that we do not. Also, Scarbrand is more expensive by a lot, but in comparison to Angron, people want to run the Demon Detachment. The Demon Detachment is awesome. And we'll talk about that once we start talking about all the detachments. Demonkin is absolutely amazing. I have a lot of tips and tricks to actually show you, and I think that's going to be one of the best detachments in all of World Eaters. Enhancements will stay relatively the same in price. So you see those in the bottom, and they should stay relatively around those price points unless they have some changes. They've seen some things internally. And then when they drop the new MFN points for World Eaters, it might change a little bit. You get 5 units from the Demon Codex, right? So you can no longer ally demons into World Eaters, right? Currently, that's starting to happen. It happened with EC. Now it's happening with World Eaters. You do not get to ally them unless you have a specific detachment that allows them to be in that detachment, which Demonkin is the one for World Eaters. So that's going to be exciting. You also get Karanak, which was mentioned on the Adepticon GW preview. So we should be able to have Karanak as well to add him into the World Eaters. Very nice looking model and some decent rules as well. To the Angry Man, Big Daddy Primarch himself of the World Eaters is Angron. Angron has Dev Wounds now. Very strong, so it gives him more quality in his melee. He lost a lot of his efficiency in his melee by not having all of those rerolls. I would say that 2 of the abilities that he has is very subpar, and you're probably never going to end up taking those 2 abilities. But you do have one ability that allows you to ignore weapon skill characteristic, hit rolls, move characteristic, advance rolls, and charge roll penalties and bonuses. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to keep and get rid of. Very, very strong. So you're going into armies like Death Guard that are -1 to hit, -1 weapon skill. You ignore all of that and you say, I don't care. Very, very strong. Especially that it's an aura and it gives it out to all of your army within 6 inches. Now, there's 2 other ones where it's like the old Exalted 8-bound leadership test to fall back. He has the same exact one. Very strong when it was on Exalted 8-bound because you had multiple units, right? And you had multiple locations that you could put it on to kind of prevent your enemy army from doing whatever they want. Having it on Angron may not be the most beneficial one. And also you get the ability to reroll 66 blessings if Angron is on the battlefield. So if he's not on the battlefield, you don't get to reroll those, which kind of sucks. Also, now he reses on your turn, so you don't have the ability to rapid ingress, which is very, very bad, which makes his data sheet very, very poor. Makes people not want to take this model. You can't rapid ingress with him anymore. You come back to life with only 8 wounds. Big challenge. He's 385 points or 410 points, as the Codex says, which is outrageous. He lost 2 pips of strength and an attack and a sweep attack as well. 1 or 2 sweep attacks as well. So he got better quality hits, but less efficient and less attacks. I guess GW thought that he was just way too obnoxious. They were not. They might have won 3 GTs last year. So I call BS and get out of here with all that, man. This is outrageous. But anyways, it is what it is. Angron is who he is, and he might be beneficial in some detachments. I think, to be quite honest with you, like I'm saying here, even if he's 100 points less, I'm still gonna think about even taking him. Even if it's 410 in the Codex and he goes down to 310, I might take him, right? So it all depends. He can also he can still also get strength 16 in Berserker Warband, but he's down to strength 14 now. Now we have up Karn and Lord Invo. So Karn got a glow up. He is one of the few units with flat 3 damage in melee and the World Eater. So it's very nice when you're selecting them, right? Take into account that flat 3 damage. We don't have a ton of it. And it can also help out with against a lot of armies that have like Catans and -1 damage, like Dreadnoughts, things like that. So dropped in points as well. The league points is 85 points, but that's very cheap. I think it's worth it, very worth it to take him. And he also reses now, which is absolutely incredible. So he got cheaper. He flat 3 damage. He reses now. He still kills his own crew, but now he reses, come back to life, and he's flat 3 damage, like I mentioned again. So very good. I think he's definitely worth it at 85 points. And if you're taking Khorne Berserkers, you're probably taking him instead of the Mona. Now we have the Lord Invocatus. He lost a ×2 unit scout buff. Really sucks that he can't allow 2 units to scout anymore. But it's kind of changed how he's being used now. He gains Deep Strike, and he also gives Deep Strike to that unit. So just kind of thinking it out and theory crafting, right? 20 Berserkers Deep Striking with him is really, really nasty. Trying to put that on the tabletop where they're going to go through all kinds of screens and terrain on top of that. 20 Berserkers is going to be very, very hard to shift with him leading that unit. So just a thought. You start army building and you start thinking to yourself, hey, I want to take Lord Invo. Maybe 20 Berserkers is the way to go. Or with the Exalted A-Bound or A-Bound. Also moves through enemy models and terrain, like I was just previously mentioning, and mortals on impact. And if you roll a 6, it gets really, really serious and strong. D3 plus 3 mortal wounds, which is absolutely amazing. So his impact mortal wounds, his ability to move through screens and deep strike and move through terrain is really, really strong. So I'm hoping to see him back on the battlefield. I might be using him, but you're probably going to see more people using Lord Unjug. Speaking of the Lord Unjuggernaut, the Lord Unjuggernaut gets a 10-inch movement, and he gives it to his unit as well. All right? So being attached to Berserkers, being attached to basically Berserkers make him move 10, right? Anything else, even once you start taking him into your Blood Crushers list for like Demonkin, things like that, he's going to reduce their speed, unfortunately, but you're going to be able to go through terrain with that unit. So kind of a toss-up, you know, a kind of a pro and con for actually taking him to that unit. But I'd rather run through walls than have that +2 movement, I think, most of the time. He also has a 3-inch fight for large units. So those units get to fight within 3 inches. Really, really nice for these big bases, these big oval bases, like blood crushers, like we were talking about previously. So could help out a lot with that. Now on to the mode, the Master of Executions. The Master of Executions got a side grade. He got his fight first taken away from him, which was very strong. The reason people were taking him in the first place, the reason why he was so expensive. Now I want to say he's about half the price at 60 points, which was the leaked one. So probably you're going to take him if you're taking a bunch of Berserkers. Obviously, you're going to take him for 60 points if you're taking a bunch of Berserkers. But I wouldn't consider him an auto-include anymore without that fight first. He does still have the, or he has the ability to reroll blood surges and advanced rolls now. still has full rerolls for character units, but also gains you a CP for killing a character model now. Very good. We never had any way to get to influence our CP economy, so this is a way for us to finally influence that. Still doesn't have an invulnerable save, but really cost efficient at 60 points, like I was mentioning. Really, really cheap. Taking that, killing characters, getting you a free CP can be very, very beneficial if you're taking a lot of Berserkers. DP, the Demon Prince on foot. He gives himself Lone Up if he is within 3 inches of a World Eater's infantry unit. Very strong. I know I'm going to be taking him in a couple of the lists, especially in the Possessed Slaughterbound. I want to make sure that I'm reducing all those 2 CP stratagems that we have in the Possessed Slaughterbound. One of them being +1 damage, so 8 bound, things like that. Berserkers, several, they all go to damage 2 for Berserkers, or 8 bound go to damage 3. Very, very strong, and he helps you make sure that you're not paying all of that CP for those stratagems. Also, he's a beast stick. He gets dev wounds on the charge, and once per battle round, he lessens the cost of the strat, like what we're talking about, right? So very, very strong. I think he's great for his price point. I want to say I saw it leaked at 180. So you take the enhancement, or 200 rather, and you take the enhancement, and it's 220 points if you're taking the Demonkin one, right? Different enhancement is going to cost him a little bit different, but he's 200 points currently in the leaked new MFN points. Also, we have the DP with the side of Slaw. That just means he has wings, right? Or he doesn't have wings, like Scarbrand. We shall see. But he forces Battle Shock -1 in the fight phase against engaged units, and he has Fly Over Mortal Wounds on a 4+, and it's just a single mortal wound, so not too strong. You're not going to take him for that. Probably the least popular of the 2 Demon Princes, where you're going to take one in your World Eater's army. But hey, you might find some play in this in the future. Now we have the brand new unit, the surgeon, the person who helps out the units and brings models back, Mr. Slaughterbound himself. So, new addition to the World Eater's Merry Band of Angry Men, brings back a single model in your command phase only, +3 attacks and dev wounds, which is really strong. When attached to Exalted 8-bound or 8-bound, he gains their respective abilities as well. So he would get Deep Strike for Exalted 8-bound and Scouts for 8-bound. He actually ends up getting them both, but it gives you the ability to be functional in both of those units, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm glad that it didn't make it more complex when it was like, when it's in this unit, it doesn't have Deep Strike. When it's in this unit, it doesn't have Scout. Just give it to him. Give it all to him, right? Doesn't matter. So pretty awesome, pretty awesome. Points will tell if this is worth it, but currently they show it as 90 points. The MFM has him at 85 points. I think he's very worth it with 6 wounds, a 3/5 up, toughness 6, 10 movement, right? Leadership 6, and he has 9 attacks depending on what type of detachment. Berserker Warband, obviously, he has more. He goes up to strength 10. Things like that. He does not have anti-vehicle or anti-monster, which really sucks. I thought that if he was sharing all the things that he has in the other units, he should have gotten that as well. And maybe on top of that, a unit buff, right, where he's giving the unit maybe +1 to wounds, since the 8-bound is given +1 to hit. But it is what it is for 85 points, and I'm rather happy, and he can resurrect the model every single command phase of mine. Now into the 8-bound. So there's no more champions anymore. So we lost damage 3 lacerators, which really sucks. Also, just a pro tip for people who are modeling and don't have the ability, like myself and everybody in the world who can't buy a Slaughterbound right now, unless you're buying that proprietary box that's exclusive just for the World Eaters, the Gore Storm or whatever it's called, right? So you got to spend $200 and something just to get that one character. what I've been doing is taking actually, if you look at it, the exalted A-bound model right there in the bottom, which is the previous old champion, I'm taking that exact previous old champion that has the double chain fist and making him my Slaughterbound, right? That way he's unique, because he's more unique than anything else in those units. So I'll take him out, make him my Slaughterbound. I only have like 3 to 5 of them. So I'll take him out of the units, plug him into there, and just call him a Slaughterbound, because we don't have the capability of getting it right now. A lot of people don't, unless you're dropping, almost $300 for it. So aura buffs, +1 to hit and +1 to wound versus non-monsters and non-vehicles, like what we're saying. So this is all predicated. This unit right here is predominantly your anti-infantry, and they have abilities that show that, right? So anything that's not a monster or a vehicle, they're giving you +1 to hit and +1 to wound if it's below half strength. Still scout 6 as well, so they still scout. And weapons have a higher strength now. So very, very good. I'm glad they had a weird spot before, that strength 5, that it just put it in a weird spot when you were attacking things. You would go up to strength 6, and you'd be very happy when you were fighting into toughness 3 like Eldar or Drukhari. But other than that, it was kind of lackluster. I really like this. You have less attacks now, but now you have better strength and quality hits. So I really like this adjustment. And remember, every single data sheet got a change in this book. The entire army is completely different. So take it for that. Take it as a grain of salt. Take it as a new book, and try not to compare it emotionally when you're thinking about the old codex. Exalted A-bound does have the anti-vehicle and monster 3+2 wound. Also has the desperate escape test for vehicles or monsters wanting to fall back. Very nice. I always like this in the Orcs codex. They have a stratagem. The ability to have a vehicle or a monster just straight up die on a 1 or a 2 for falling back is hilarious. I've done this before where I had a Riptide fall back from another faction, Orc faction that I was using, and killed the Riptide at full health. So could be pretty hilarious, pretty nice when you're trying to really take care of your army and your enemy opponent is trying to fall back and take care of himself. Now we have the glow up on the Berserkers. Units only come now in 10 to 20, so we can no longer take them in 5s. Boo-hoo. For those of you who were taking them just to hold objectives or just because you had extra points and you want to throw them out there, right? You can only take them in 10s and 20s now. I guess somebody's just, GW's just trying to get more money. I don't know why they did that, but it is what it is. Blood Surge is significantly better now. It's D6 +2. Very strong. So now your enemy has to be 9.1 inches away to ensure that you're not tagging them. Very, very long threat range. If you've ever played against something like this, you almost have to stop your entire army's ability of shooting. And when you take out an entire phase in fear of being blood surge into by Berserkers, that's beneficial for a World Eaters player. Very, very beneficial. So psychological warfare is absolutely amazing. Now, if you have an icon of Khorne, it gets you a bloodshed point. And with each point, you can add an additional D6 to the blessing rolls when you've killed a unit. Also, we have the Terminators. Terminators kind of stayed the same. Their rules changed slightly. I think they got a nerf. But Terminators are still chunky boys. The abilities seem decent now. It doesn't help that they got nerfed and the ballista skill to World Eaters is subpar now. Now, they do have a ton of rapid fire, and we'll deep dive more into every single data sheet when I'm breaking down the detachments and what's beneficial, what synergizes, and things like that. But I wanted to give everybody just a quick synopsis of what it is to have the Terminators, right? So, got nerfed a little bit, but still chunky boys and hold objectives very well. Some detachments, you still have sticky objectives, so having them on an objective, holding it for as long as they can, And then if they end up dying from shooting, you sticky that objective. It's still very strong. So you have a double strength right there. So hopefully I get to see Terminators in the future, and maybe we figure out where Terminators actually fit when it comes to being used in World Eaters Codex. Up next is the Jackals. So the Jackals still have sticky, which is very good. So you're probably going to still end up taking them. A couple of detachments, you're probably going to abandon them and not take your Jackals anymore. So this codex has a lot of variety, so you're not always going to take every single unit and every single detachment. Very, very nice to have that type of variety with limited data sheets on top of that. But they still have sticky, so it's very strong. I probably end up taking them in every single detachment, including Demonkin. But to each their own. I think they're very strong. And they got a glow up where their toughness went up to 4. Icons is the same. You get an additional D6 to the blessing roll when you kill a unit. Units only come in 10 to 20, just like Berserkers. So you have the ability to put them in 20s now and just run around and do the Idols detachment. We'll talk about the Idols detachment as well, where you can have like 120 Jackals and another 36 Goremongers on top of that. So you end up with 156 models that are just like cultist bodies. So pretty cute, pretty funny. Speaking of Goremongers, very solid unit. I think that if you're taking Scout, you're always taking Infiltrate, so you can screen out all of your Scouts, right? You want to take your infiltrating units, make sure that you get to the side that you want to go to, whatever positioning and movement you want to get to, and create a big screen. That way your Scouts come right behind it, and they have the ability to actually move out and not be screened out. Also has Infiltrate, like we were saying, so very, very strong. We finally have the ability to infiltrate with World Eaters. Have a 9-inch movement, and also has a reactive move of D6 once per turn. Chaos Spawn also got a slight glow up as well. They have Advance and Charge now. Has more attacks. They actually went up to D6 plus 4 instead of D6 plus 2. Very, very nice. Still only hitting on 4s, but we got a ton of more attacks. Their movement went up from 8 to 10, and they have the Advance and Charge now. So do we use them a little bit differently? Are they still holding objectives, or are they more of a threatening kind of trash unit you throw out on your flanks holding objective, and if something comes around there that's pretty much, you know, weak, like a scout unit or something like that, do we run them in and just destroy that unit? Probably so. With a lot of those attacks, and if you get sustains on top of it, there could be a ton more. Also, Scouts 8 inches, so you can scout this out as well. Very, very strong. I like it. So when you're using your Goremongers, it can help him scout out 8 inches as well. Helps him get to those objectives. So I think Chaos Spawn are still absolutely incredible. I think they got a great glow up. I know they're not going to have the 4-up Feel No Pain anymore, but they have more utility now. They get there a lot faster, and I think they have the ability to actually hold flanks and hold objectives and do what they needed to. Going on to the Hellbrute. So this is a fan favorite. A lot of people love the Hellbrute model, the lore, the aesthetics, and what it's really all about, right? It's just about burn, maiming, and killing. It just wants to go out there and just continue to fight, and rage, right? So that's why a lot of people really like the Hellbrute. Hilariously, Blood Angels lost their variant of it, and we kept ours, and EC lost their variant of it as well, and we kept ours because he is a close combat beast, has a ton of attacks, got a glow up as well. He has +2 attacks if you take an additional melee weapon, can either shoot or fight when targeted in those phases, and is very cheap. I want to say it was 120 points actually in the leak, so 160 points seems a little high, but at 120 points, oh man, are you taking this? Are you taking 2 of them in your list? they can go out there and pile in and consolidate 6 inches because of your blessings. So move, charge, pile in, or consolidate 6 inches to a new unit, fight again, consolidate to a new unit, fight again. Can get pretty freaking gnarly. Let me know how you guys end up doing with yours, if you end up taking a few of them. But very, very nice unit. I think it has some great rules. Great glow up as well. Now we have the Defiler. Defiler really it's really mostly the same. He has more attacks now in melee, but his ballistic skill got a lot worse. He has the ability to have more rapid fire now with more options, but that's really about it. Defiler really kind of stayed to what it was before. Just a big model walking around on the tabletop that can shoot relatively well, can fight relatively well, and just be a huge distraction carnifex. On to the Land Raider now. Oh my lordy. The Land Raider is absolutely amazing. So, if you look at the last cannon, it is rapid fire. Rapid fire 2 at that. So you go from 4 last cannon shots to 8 last cannon shots. This is absolutely amazing. We have an amazing Land Raider that has 8 cannons on it. Yes, it's not hitting as well as it was before on 3s. Hitting on 4s. But 8 last cannons. Wow. You could still put a pack of 8 bound in here. Shoot 8 last cannons at a monster. Hop out the 8 bound with Slaughterbound. And destroy a completely different unit. Because it has the assault ramps. You can move the vehicle, normal move, hop out 3 inches, and still advance and charge. So very, very strong, man. Absolutely amazing. Or not advance and charge, but just charge. Still absolutely amazing. I love it. The Land Raider got a glow up. I'm definitely going to get one of these to put in my list. I'm going to try it out and see how those 8 last cannons actually do. Still transports models. Now it's up to 14, so you can actually take your 8 bound of 6, Slaughterbound 7. They count as 2 for 14. If it would have stayed at 12, you're not putting anything in here. It would have been very, very sad for Games Workshop to not pay attention to that, right? Since our units come in 6s, and you're adding a character potentially to any one of those. And also, it has 9 crazy attacks. All of our vehicles, Rhinos, I want to say, have 6 attacks. They're 6-1. They're 601. These are 801 for 9 attacks. Just crazy. World Eaters got a bunch of attacks, including their vehicles. Even their vehicles are angry, want to fight you even more, right? So completely hilarious. That's exactly why we got rapid fire on just about every single weapon we got. So World Eaters actually shoot in this codex. Actually shoot. And speaking of shooting, if you know, you know. And you're taking 3 Forge Fiends. Because of their ability to do rapid fire and full rerolls within 18 inches, and they got a glow up of +2 movement, this unit is absolutely amazing, including its price point. It's only 150 points from what the points are from what it leaked. So if this is going to actually be 150 points, you take 3 of them for 450 points. You shoot things. For example, you're running the Demonkin detachment. You shoot things because you need blood tips, because it's just blood types, because you said they need to destroy something to potentially roll a 3+ to get a blood type, right? Well, this is what they do. You kill them from afar so you can get those blood types really fast. That way you can start giving your buffs to your army even faster turn 1, hopefully turn 2, right? So Forge Fiends are absolutely amazing. Got a glow up. They have their faster movement now. Wow. Force Fiends are really, really good with full rerolls. Yes, their ballistic skill got worse, but they have rapid fire and full rerolls at 18, which is really strong. Mauler Fiends, very solid unit. The movement went up +2, so they actually move 12 inches now, which is amazing. Very, very fast. There's abilities to move this like the Kool-Aid Man and just bust through terrain pieces and certain detachments. So just think about that. More attacks in melee now as well. Some really good below strength and below half strength abilities as well. Rather decent, but if you're doing close combat, you're probably not taking a Mauler Fiend unless he's very, very, very cheap. Moving on to the Predators. The Predator Annihilator gives you the ability to reroll wounds and damage rolls if within 18 inches of the closest vehicle or monster. That's pretty nasty. I don't think you want to get that close with a Predator Annihilator, but if you're strategic reserving them, something like that, you have a rhyme for your reason, right? It can be really, really good and very, very efficient, especially when you're re-rolling the wound roll and the damage roll. Twin Last Cannon also has rapid fire 2 as well, so they get a glow up, right? So you go from 2 to 4. You can potentially go from 6 shots, so 2 to 6 shots potentially. Correct me if I'm wrong out there, right? But I believe you go to 6 shots out of that. Also, you have the Predator Destructor, the twin autocannon, which has a ludicrous amount, diabolical amount of rapid fire 6 now. Crazy, just the amount of additional rapid fire shots that we have at World Eaters. They can actually be a shooty army. You can actually take a lot of these units and probably destroy your enemy unit in shooting. Pretty bananas. And shoot and hit a unit to suppress them for a -1 to hit. Really nice. I like that. I actually like that. You know, you just hit a unit, whatever it might be, a very good unit, make a -1 to hit, so make their life a little bit of a living hell to really get at you. So really like how the Predators are getting a little bit of a glow up. The Rhino. The Rhino got one of the most impressive glow ups. Units embark can disembark if enemy units do a normal, advanced, or fallback move within 9 inches. This is crazy. You just hop out of the vehicle, potentially blood surge into that unit if they're idiotic enough to shoot that unit, knowing that you can blood surge up to potentially 8 inches, right? If they're that close to you. It's crazy. Like I was saying before, you also get 6 attacks with the armored tracks on the Rhino. Ludicrous. Helldrake, relatively the same. Couple points drop, not much, but +1 to hit versus fly units. More melee attacks now for the Helldrake, and the Hades autocannon is rapid fire 4 now. So relatively the same. You're probably not going to see a lot of this model on the tabletop, but I'm glad that they redid the data sheet and they showed it a little bit of love. Khorne Lord Skulls. Now, depending where this goes with points, you can be either very sad or very happy. I have seen it where the points have leaked for 505 points, meaning he went up a significant amount from 450 to 505. I don't know why. I know he got a glow up on his movement. He went from 8 to 12. He stayed 13 toughness. He's still a 3-5, still 24 wounds, still 6 leadership, and still OC 8. His ballistic skill got worse. Yes, he does have a ton of rapid fire now. If all of his weapons, just about all of his weapons, have rapid fire 3 or 4. So the Skull Hurler, Demon Gore Cannon, things like that, rapid fire galore. Your ballistic skill got worse, but you have rapid fire for days. So potentially a lot more shots. He has 3 more sweep attacks as well and 1 more strike. So he actually went up to 6 strike, which is really, really good. And he's flat 8 damage, right? So, so nothing to sneeze at. Also, he got a glow up where now he gets the super heavy walker ability where he could just toe into a footprint where the ruin is at and see past all that stuff. And walk through them as well. So he could do the Kool-Aid Man through the ruins and potentially hurt himself on a wall. But depends. If his points price goes way too high, you're probably not taking him. Now we go into the Khorne Demon section. We got Skarbrand. Skarbrand, as we already know, in the Demon section, he got an absolute glow up. He advanced in charges now. He's only 305 points according to the leaks, which is very, very cheap. Obviously, a lot cheaper than Angron. Why you taking Angron when this dude is only 305 points? He also has +1 attack, an aura ability for the Blood Legion. So if you're taking him in Demonkin, you're giving +1 attack to your Bloodletters that only have 2 attacks. Your Blood Crushers that only have 2 attacks on the mounts, or the riders rather. So you give him 3 attacks. Now, nice little glow up. Obviously gives himself +1 attack as well. And then when he gets hurt below 8, right, the Khorne number, he gets +2 attack. So he gets +3 attack with this aura ability. Very, very solid unit. I think he's going to be an auto take in a lot of Demonkin units, or detachments rather. Very, very strong, very beneficial, and very, very cheap. Now we have the Bloodthirster with the Lash of Khorne. Went from 6 to 9 attacks. Very nice. And the Blood Legion aura for +1 to hit in melee. So the Bloodthirster is probably what you're going to take most of the time when you're taking that Demon detachment, the Demonkin detachment, right? He is reliable. You can throw an enhancement on him. You can deep strike with him, which is the big one, right? And fly. Skarbrand can't do those last 2 things. So it makes him very, very strong when you're trying to add an enhancement, potentially 2+ save and get a free blood type when you die. Just saying, hint, hint, pro tip. So you have the ability and you have flexibility with this model, right? And he's nothing to sneeze at either. If you give him a 2+ save, he still has a 4+ invul, 12-inch movement, and a ton of attacks with high strength. Higher than Angron. Also, we have Bloodletters. Bloodletters, oh my gosh, they got to glow up with one particular stratagem in the Demonkin detachment. Being able to bring these dudes in just slightly over an inch for your enemy units because you killed something that game. It's absolutely amazing. So get you 2 to 3 boxes of these. Do it. Do it now. They mostly haven't changed. They're kind of lackluster, right? They have their 5+ invul, 2 attacks, 5/2/2. Great option in Demonkin detachment. Otherwise, you can't take them, so you're not taking them. And now on to the final data sheets. The Blood Crushers and the Flesh Hounds, unfortunately, did not change. There were some slight changes that I did not include in here, but I'll go ahead and tell you right now. The Blood Crushers went up to toughness 7, which hasn't changed for the Demon Codex, and went up to 4 wounds, which hasn't changed for that either. But for World Eaters, they're a brand new unit, so they did change for what they previously were. Still a strong unit. You're gonna take a 6-pack of this in your Demonkin army, 100%. That way you can run through walls, do some mortal wound impact, some impact mortal wounds, things like that, and just be a complete nuisance with Blood Crushers. So they got a great glow up. And then the Flesh Hounds did not change, but taking them for their upbeat downy ability is absolutely amazing. They're only 75 points for 5 of them. They get advance in charge, and they get a 3+ versus psychic abilities. So very strong. Hopefully everyone enjoyed what they saw today with all the data sheets. We're all super excited, and I can't wait to have this on the table and playing it out. Thank you so much to everyone who stayed locked in and participated to the very end. Hopefully you all enjoyed the new World Eaters Codex. Absolutely amazing. I can't wait to actually have this on the tabletop in tournaments, playing, trying to figure out exactly what's the best attachments, what's the best units, and how to best and most efficiently burn, maim, and kill with my World Eaters. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe as always. I highly appreciate it very much if you have the opportunity to maybe give us a super chat or something like that. But your support of just liking and subscribing and sharing your friends will do. Don't forget Onslaught Gaming 40K, where victory is just a strategy away. And most importantly, burn, maim, kill, blood for the blood god. Ah!